So we are in a kind of odd weather. It's 21 degrees according to my phone, but it's kind of cold, chilly. Nobody's at the dog park. Do you want to play ball, Boo Boo? So I want to talk to you about the Ultimatum season 3. What I really don't like about these shows is that you start to binge and then oops, all of a sudden I see the next day is like the 18th of December. Are you kidding me? I waited to the 11th of December. Now I have to wait for the 18th. So you have you're building up a lot of expectations. So let me tell you what the Ultimatum is about before I continue, because not everybody knows. It's a show where couples come, and for some reason all these couples are amazing looking. Again, if you really want it to be real, then you don't take people who look like models. The women all look like models. The men, most of them look like models. What's the point? It's not typical. I can't identify with somebody who looks like a model. I mean, yes, they seem to spend 5 hours a day at the gym, but still, you want somebody you can identify with. And the Ultimatum is an interesting idea because, I don't know, I've been in this situation like that where you're dating someone and you want to know, where is this leading? It's usually women, but it can also be men, especially men who are very eager to marry. They're maybe older and the woman is maybe younger, or for some reason she's not there. They're not on the same page regarding commitment, long-term commitment. And they want to know, where do I stand? Because you don't want to be with somebody for years and years and then at the end they don't want to have a family. Women have a biological clock. A woman cannot have children forever. So it also puts pressure on them. So let's start with the first couple with that issue. It's JR, African American couple, JR and Zaina. Gorgeous people, gorgeous. And she's 32. I think they've been together for at least 2 or 3 years. But still, you're 32. You really want to, there are women that are having babies when they're 16. You're already 32. You want to have a family. Beautiful, intelligent woman. And then he's very good looking, but he has some issues. He was married before, doesn't want to get divorced. But that's such a stupid excuse. Oh, I've been married before, I don't want to get divorced, I don't want to get married again. Yes, but you're dating, you have a new relationship. Then don't get into relationships at all. But he's using that as an excuse. Well, I don't want to get divorced and I had a tough childhood. But now you're doing well. You're working as a personal trainer and you're successful, obviously. You look great. Hey, you cannot just blame your past. And I think that if a man really loves a woman, like that song, when a man loves a woman, there's no way he's going to postpone marriage. He's going to want to marry her. So she looks like a wonderful woman, but maybe sometimes the women are too wonderful, because I could see a pattern where she's the giving person and he's taking her for granted. So that's one couple. Then you have another couple. God, the names. Scotty and... God, I don't remember her name. Beautiful woman. He's good looking, but he's very tough. He's very judgmental. Forgot her name, it will come to me later. And then you have Mariah, she's young, very pretty girl, very quiet, very modest. I think she's partly Asian. And her mate is a good-looking guy as well. Caleb, very interesting name. And they seem like a really sweet couple, but she wants to know where they're at. She wants a commitment. I'm sorry, it's a cultural thing also. The traditional people who come from traditional families, they want to get married. I'm not saying every Asian woman, but that seems to be the pattern. Women that come from Asian societies, they're very traditional, or people come from the Middle East, They want to get married. They don't want to beat around the bush. And then there's another one. Okay, what is her name? What is his name? He's an artist, and he's 39, which is pretty old for reality shows. And then I don't know how old she is. She's in her early 20s, I think. Her name is Sandy. Great looking woman, looks like a model. And he's okay. He's not a model, but he's an artist. So, you can expect that he's not the most stable person. And who else? Did I fail to mention someone? I don't know. These are the main couples anyway. There were other couples, but they dropped out at one point. They don't want to do this ultimatum, so they have to they have to separate for 3 weeks, find a new partner among the very limited pool of very good-looking people, live with the new partner for 3 weeks, and then come back to the old partner, live with them for I don't know how long, and then finally make a decision whether you're going to get married or stay together, or leave with the new partner you met on the show, or leave alone. So now we're at like a cliffhanger, but let me tell you where it's at. So JR and Sandy, JR is a gorgeous African American. Oh my God, he has muscles, he's gorgeous. And he seems to be a really nice person. He's a preacher's child, so I don't know how tough was his childhood. His father was a preacher. He must have gotten a lot of spirituality at least. I don't know, it doesn't sound like a horrible childhood. It's not like his father was a drug addict. But anyway, he said he was really tough. And then he's with Sandy, who's a Christian. She has a huge cross. But you know what's funny about Christianity to me as a Jew? When people are Orthodox Jews, they dress modestly. And that's true about Islam as well. Maybe also in Buddhism. But Christianity, you can wear a short skirt. You can have like cleavage showing. You can wear skimpy clothes and still wear a huge cross and say, I'm religious. So he doesn't demand looking modest, dressing modest, which I think is kind of funny. So I'm religious, but she's like, oh my God, her clothes, there's like no clothes. I don't know how she doesn't get cold. I mean, even if it's warm outside, I don't know where it takes place. It seems like a very tropical climate. Still, she's like with these skimpy clothes. And she and JR sort of, they are very attracted to each other in all levels, also spiritually. And they find a common ground. She likes him. He is very attractive. And they click. But the problem is, she starts to say, we only kissed once. And then it's like a big drama. So her partner, whose name I really forgot, this 39-year-old artist, just like is shocked and horrified that she kisses somebody. The woman looks good. She looks she looks amazing. She's like 10 out of 10. And he's 39. He's not the best looking guy. He has a lot of mood swings, and she suffers. She's very sensitive. She has some good qualities, but oh my God, telling the truth is not one of them. So I don't know which of the 10 commandments she actually keeps, but a lot of them, let's say, she doesn't keep. Like, you're not supposed to lie. So first she says a peck. Now a peck is a peck. It's not a passionate kiss and making out. So you can call it a kiss, and it can last like 24 hours. Because between the kiss, you also did other things, but it doesn't matter. So then she admits, we kissed twice. And there's cameras. And this guy's 39, he's not an idiot. So he gets very upset. But if you want loyalty, you don't date a hot 22-year-old woman. You go with somebody older. Maybe a single mom who has kids all the time and doesn't have time to flirt. You don't take a 22-year-old woman, because why would she commit to it? She's like young, very attractive, and you can see she likes to flirt. I mean, it's not just because JR. She likes to flirt. She has a nice family, I have to say. The family loves the new guy. They don't like the old guy because I think he was very judgmental. He's borderline abusive, if not crossing the border. Because I saw her cry. When a woman cries, it's not a good sign. If you're in a relationship and you're crying, this is not a good sign. This is not a good sign. There's a soldier with a dog that looks like from the army. The types of dog they use for the army. Just so you know, you're in Israel. That's a kind of a cool scene. Yeah, it's so sad. We use these dogs sometimes. These are the best partners. Anyway, so right now it's very like a cliffhanger. Sandy's going back to the 39-year-old artist who loves her and worships her, worships the ground she walks on, or is she going to go with JR? Or is she going to walk alone? She has a really nice family. She doesn't really need a man to entertain her. Then you have Mariah. She's so sweet, so nice. And the guy she's with, Caleb, seems to take her for granted. He's like, it's so familiar to me. Like, oh, it's not you, it's me, and blah, blah, blah. Very young couple. And she should just really get the hint and leave. He's good looking, he's nice, but doesn't have much of a... They're both very quiet, calm. And then he was with this African American lady. She's really good looking, but they were very kind of platonic. And she has a jealous boyfriend, but they seem to have no physical contact. So you're young and you're dating somebody and you have no physical, like, there's no physical stuff going on. That's weird. And of course, Scotty is like, he wants something physical. She's gorgeous, but you don't go out with a painting. You need a relationship. You need some sort of interaction, especially when you're young. It's so weird for me. They're even together. So I think a lot of these people are together because of the looks. And looks can be very deceiving, I can tell you that much. Like the children's songs, it's inside. It's the important part. Did I miss anybody out of those couples? I'm trying to think. So a lot of drama with JR and with Zaina, I think her name is. Beautiful woman. Seems sharp as nail. Beautiful African-American girl. Gorgeous. She looks like, I forgot, one of those singers. One of those African-American singers who's like a big hit. Gorgeous. Gorgeous girl. He's also good looking. But looks are not it. You need to have an emotional bond, and they don't seem to... I don't see it happening. I don't see JR and Zaina going the long run. And Sandy and him seem to have such a great relationship, so cozy. Like, it's not just physical attraction. They say it's an emotional contact. They really have a common bond. I think he wouldn't have trouble proposing to her if they've been together for 2 years. If a guy's with you for 2 years and you're 32, you should really not give him the ultimatum and be willing to face the consequences that this might be the end of the relationship. Oh, beautiful bird flying. So, it's almost 13 minutes. The main suspense is what's going to be with JR and Sandy or Zaina, this triangle. And the other suspense is the other couples that are not that interesting, to be honest. I don't really care what they do. I think they should all break up, actually. I really do. I don't think any of them should stay together. I don't see one couple that actually has a reason to stay together. If you have to issue somebody an ultimatum, it's already a sign that something's deeply wrong in your relationship. And if you've been with somebody for 3 weeks who's not your partner and you feel better, then you should just really get out of that relationship. I don't believe in rebound. I know it works for some people, like people I've dated. They just go from one relationship to another. That way they don't have to feel alone. There are some people who can't be alone. They need to be with somebody all the time, whether it's a friend or partner or husband or wife. Can't be alone. And these are types, and other people have a trouble being in a relationship. You have all types of people in this world, but you have to be a match. And if you're not a match, break it off. It's very painful to break off a relationship, especially once it's over a year. The longer you're with a person, the harder it is to recover. which is why people don't break off relationships that don't work. But then they just continue and continue and continue and continue, and it doesn't get better, it gets worse. And of course, if you want to have children, it's not a really good reason, because you're getting to that age to have children with somebody who doesn't want to have children, to sort of convince him, or yeah. So it's a pretty good season. I think the first season wasn't as interesting for me. The queer one was really interesting because I didn't know that much about lesbians. It was lesbians giving ultimatums, and I didn't know that much about them. Not that you can generalize, but it was interesting for me as like an observation. But this third season is pretty good. I think they'll all break up. I don't think any of them will stay together, and if they stay together, they shouldn't. It's really interesting to watch other people's relationships. My aunt used to be a marriage counselor, and she never got married. She never stayed in a relationship like for really like a long time or anything. Never had kids. Just at the end of her life, she found somebody, and I think probably because they both, or she died, she didn't break it off. Or there are people that it's so easy to give advice. It's the easiest thing in the world. If you're a marriage counselor, people come to you and you just tell them whatever. But I think once there's abuse, toxic relationship, just like the artist, I don't know how much of an artist he is. Oh, look at this bird. But real artists need a lot of time for themselves. They're very self-centered and focused, and this guy seems to be obsessed with a woman. Or they paint them like Picasso. You just paint them. You incorporate them into your art. You use them as a muse. So I don't think he's much of an artist. But today, the term artist is used very loosely. Everybody can be an artist. You just spray paint some piece of cloth and you call yourself an artist. So I don't think he is an artist, because an artist is somebody who's, he's invested in his art, and the woman is not the center of his life. So it's weird. And I don't think necessarily that they have mood swings. I think it's just like Van Gogh was Van Gogh not because he was an artist. He wasn't crazy because he was an artist. He was just crazy, and by coincidence, a very, very talented guy that had nothing to do with his madness. Mad people do not create. I'm right now in a phase where I kind of don't create a lot. And so that artist guy, I don't like him. I think nobody likes him. I forgot his name even. This is like a weird name, not a common name. They all have like weird names. What are you doing, Shiva? So I would say if you want companionship, get a pet. If you don't want to get married and have children, don't torture somebody who does want to have children and have a family. So that's all I have to say about it. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that kind of a problem anymore. I don't think a woman should beg for a man to fertilize her eggs. I think the man should want to be the father of her children. If he doesn't, you really should break it off. Because even if you do have children together, I don't see it lasting, because, children test your relationship. And if the guy is, when you don't have children, he's already unstable and he can go off with a woman he hardly met and kiss and make out with her, that's like a huge red flag. If a man is with you and he's with other women and he's flirting and shows interest in other women, it's a huge red flag. You don't want that as a father to your children. You want for your children somebody who's loyal, somebody who really appreciates you and respects you enough to not go off with other women. Because I don't think children need polyamorous relationships. It's possible, but it's very rarely works out that a man who's not invested in a woman, the mother of his children, will be invested in his children. Men usually are, they go off after the woman whom they are interested in. So if the guy isn't interested to be a father of your children, doesn't want to get married, doesn't want a commitment, you have to end the relationship if that's what you want. You shouldn't have to compromise on what you want. Nobody's worth it, you know? You should focus on the goals you have in your life. So I don't see it. The ultimatum is very sad because people are really afraid to be alone, and they're with these really amazing looking people. Just because you look good doesn't mean anything, because if you're with somebody who's good looking but has personality of cardboard, it's not fun. And when you're with somebody who really has a great personality and you really have a lot to talk about and you have similar goals, I think that's great. And that's the kind of person you should be with. And then you don't have to issue an ultimatum because you just feel happy. When you feel happy, you don't even think to break up a relationship. If you think to break up a relationship, you should break up the relationship. Anyway, peace, light, and love.